Imagine just one fruit, a single golden orb that's, well, it's traveled across millennia, shaped cultures. And now, in the hands of, let's call them culinary artists, it becomes a canvas for 12 distinct masterpieces. Today, we're peeling back the layers on something that seems simple but is actually profoundly rich, the apricot.
It really is something special, isn't it?
It is. And you asked us to do a really deep dive this time, to be meticulous, go over everything, especially the intricate details of the recipe.
The nitty-gritty.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we're not just, scratching the surface. We're embarking on a full-on expedition through the apricot's world. Its ancient roots, its botanical secrets, its journey across continents, its place in different cultures. But our core mission today is to understand how this one golden fruit inspires such incredible culinary creativity.
Right.
We're going to meticulously unpack 12 unique apricot preserve techniques, each one framed as an artist's method. We'll look at every single ingredient, every crucial step, every nuance of flavor and texture.
Leaving no stone unturned, as they say.
Precisely. Think of it as your shortcut to becoming, well, not just informed, but truly immersed in the artistry of the apricot. Get ready for some serious aha moments, because we are absolutely going into detail.
It's a fantastic challenge, taking one ingredient, something seemingly straightforward, and really committing to this level of detail. What's so revealing is how, when you look that closely at everything from its biology to, its cultural story, and then these amazing culinary applications, the apricot just reveals this incredible depth. It really lends itself to this meticulous approach.
Absolutely. And to really appreciate that complexity, we have to start right at the beginning. The fundamental question: what is an apricot, botanically speaking?
Good place to start. Well, technically, the name apricot can refer to either the fruit itself or the tree it grows on. And it's not just one species. It comes from several species within the Prunus genus.
Okay, Prunus, like peaches and plums.
Exactly. The most common one we think of is Prunus armeniaca. But, and this is important, there are other species in that specific section, Prunus sect, armeniaca, that are also called apricots. So it's a bit broader than people might realize.
And that botanical classification, you're saying it's more than just labels.
Oh, definitely. It's quite telling. Knowing its family tree, kingdom Plantae, family Rosaceae, genus Prunus, section armeniaca, isn't just, academic trivia.
Right.
It lays the groundwork for understanding its unique traits. How it relates to peaches and plums, why it needs certain climates, how it behaves when you cook it. This specific genetic blueprint sets the stage for everything else.
That makes sense. The foundation.
And the story continues with its name, doesn't it? Apricot. You mentioned how language preserves history.
It absolutely does. The word itself is like a mini history lesson.
So where does apricot actually come from?
Okay, so its journey into English started around the 16th century. First appeared as apricot.
Apricot.
Yeah, it sounds a bit odd now. It came from Middle French, either abricot or abricot.
That French term borrows from Spanish, albaricoc, or Catalan albercoc.
Right, tracing it back.
Keep going. Before that, it was Arabic albarkook, which, funny enough, just meant the plums.
The plums, so they didn't distinguish it as strongly then.
Apparently not in that specific term. Before Arabic, we have Byzantine Greek barakokia, meaning apricot tree, which came from late Greek praekokion, meaning apricot.
Okay, get closer.
And the ultimate root, it's Latin, Persica praecocia.
Persica praecocia, what does that mean?
Early ripening peach.
Wow, early ripening peach. So that name itself is like a little historical note capturing how people saw it way back then.
Exactly. It tells a story of trade routes, ancient observations, that early ripening quality, the praecocia, was clearly a huge deal, something that made it stand out, something worth cultivating.
That makes perfect sense. In a time ruled by seasons, getting fruit early would be a massive advantage. It's like the name itself is a fossil record of what mattered.
Precisely. Language is archaeology. It's fascinating stuff.
So from the name, let's look at the actual plant, the tree, and of course the fruit. What's the apricot tree like?
Well, it's generally a small to medium-sized tree, usually grows somewhere between, say, 8 and 12 meters. It's roughly 26 to 39 feet tall.
Not enormous then.
No, quite manageable. The trunk can get up to about 40 centimeters, maybe 16 inches in diameter, and it typically has this dense spreading canopy. Gives good shade.
And the leaves?
They're ovate, sort of egg-shaped, wider at the base, about 5 to 9 centimeters long, 4 to 8 wide. They have a rounded base, a pointy tip, and this finely serrated edge, like tiny little teeth along the margin.
Okay. And the flowers. I always think apricot blossoms are beautiful.
They really are exquisite and crucial. They're about 2 to 4.5 centimeters across, 5 petals, usually white or maybe a soft pinkish color.
And they come out early, right? That's the key thing.
That's the crucial detail. They pop out singly or in pairs in early spring, often before the leaves properly emerge, which is stunning visually.
But risky.
Exactly. It's a double-edged sword. Makes them super vulnerable to those late spring frosts. We'll definitely come back to that channel.
Right. And then the star of the show, the fruit, botanically, it's a drupe, right? Like a peach.
Yep, a stone fruit. Basically like a small peach, usually about 1.5 to 2.5 centimeters across, half an inch to an inch. Though, modern cultivated ones can get much bigger.
And that color, that amazing golden orange.
It's beautiful. Ranges from pale yellow to deep orange, often with that lovely red blush on the side that got the most sun. The skin texture varies too. It can be totally smooth, it's glabrous, or it can have this velvety feel from tiny hairs, which we call pubescent.
Okay, and inside?
The flesh is usually really succulent, juicy, though interestingly, some wilder types, like Prunus sibirica, can be quite dry. The taste, huge range, from incredibly sweet, almost honey-like, to quite tart and bright.
And the stone in the middle.
Right, the kernel. A single seed inside that hard shell, the stone. The stone itself feels kind of grainy but smooth, except for 3 little ridges running down one edge. And that little detail about the stone and the kernel inside, it actually becomes quite important later on.
Intriguing. So hidden secrets inside. Let's talk about that hidden chemistry, though. What's going on inside the apricot?
Well, it's packed with phytochemicals. Things like provitamin A, beta-carotene, that's what gives it that gorgeous orange color and a lot of its health benefits.
Ah, beta-carotene. Makes sense.
And also polyphenols like catechins and chlorogenic acid. These are powerful antioxidants, good for protecting your cells.
Okay, and what about the taste and smell? What makes it taste like, well, apricot?
It's a complex cocktail. You've got natural sugars like sucrose and glucose for sweetness, then organic acids for that tartness. But beyond that, there's this whole array of terpenes, aldehydes, and lactones.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, they all work together to create that unique, sweet, slightly floral, fruity aroma that's just so appealing. It's a surprisingly complex chemical signature for such a seemingly simple fruit.
Now, back to those kernels you mentioned. There's something important there, isn't there, about toxicity?
Yes, absolutely crucial to understand. Apricot kernels contain amygdalin, and amygdalin, in large enough amounts, is a poisonous compound because it can release cyanide.
Right, cyanide. That sounds serious.
It can be. On average, bitter apricot kernels, the kind you find more often in wild types, have about 5% amygdalin. That translates to roughly 0.3% cyanide by weight. Sweet kernels from most cultivated varieties have less, maybe 0.9% amygdalin or 0.05% cyanide.
Can you put that in perspective, like per kernel?
Sure. A typical kernel weighs around 600 milligrams.
Yeah.
So a single bitter kernel might have about 1.8 milligrams of cyanide. A sweet one, maybe 0.3 milligrams. So eating lots of bitter kernels is definitely not advisable.
Okay, but then why are kernels sometimes used at all if they're cyanide?
Ah, that's the fascinating part. And here's the crucial distinction. Oil pressed from apricot kernels is safe.
Why?
Because amygdalin is not oil soluble.
Hmm.
The toxic compound simply doesn't transfer into the oil when it's extracted. This is fundamental. It's why apricot kernel oil is safe for cosmetics, for some food uses, even for things like that new plant milk.
That is a vital piece of information. So the oil is fine, but eating the raw kernels, especially bitter ones, needs extreme caution.
Precisely. It highlights that need for nuanced understanding when dealing with natural products.
Definitely. Now, you mentioned Prunus armeniaca is the common one, but there are others. This is where it gets really interesting, isn't it?
It really does. Beyond the common apricot, the family tree gets quite diverse. Take Prunus brigantina, the Bryanson apricot from Europe. It's grown for fruit, but also specifically for its kernel, which produces oil.
Okay.
And botanically, it's a bit of an oddball. Its DNA actually puts it closer to plums in some ways, but closer to apricots in others. A real taxonomic puzzle.
Wow. And you mentioned some that even cross over into plum territory.
Yes. This is where you get things like Prunus x DC carpa. That's the purple or black apricot. It's not just a color thing, it's a natural hybrid. An apricot crossed with a cherry plum. Cultivated in Central Asia, edible fruit.
A hybrid. That's amazing.
Isn't it? And then there's Prunus mume, often called the flowering apricot, sometimes Japanese apricot or Chinese plum. Despite the plum name, botanically it's closer to apricots, famous for its blossoms, but the fruit is edible too.
And the super hardy one for cold places.
Ah, yes, Prunus sibirica, the Siberian apricot, Incredible resilience, can handle down to -50 Celsius.
-50.
Yeah. The fruit isn't considered great for eating fresh, usually quite dry, but it's invaluable for breeding programs to get that frost resistance into tastier varieties. And there are others too, P. cathiana, P. hungpengensis, whole range adding to the genetic richness.
So this diversity, it ties into where they actually came from, right? Because it wasn't Armenia, despite the name.
Exactly. That challenges a really common assumption. Yeah. For ages, everyone thought Prunus armenica came from Armenia because it was grown there for so long, hence the name.
Right.
But modern genetic studies, building on work by the famous Russian botanist Nikolai Vavilov, have confirmed it. Domestication actually happened in Central Asia and China.
Central Asia and China. So the name is a bit of a red herring, historically speaking.
A historical echo, perhaps, of where it became significant later. From those Central Asian origins, it spread out south to South Asia, west to West Asia, including Armenia, then Europe, North Africa, and east to Japan. An incredible ancient journey.
Okay, so if you're listening and thinking, maybe I should grow apricots,
Yeah.
what do they actually need? Let's get into the cultivation details.
Right, the practicalities. First off, they have a significant chilling requirement. They need a certain number of cold hours in winter to flower properly, usually between 300 and 900 chilling units.
Chilling units, so you need a proper winter.
You do. And they prefer a dry climate, especially when the fruit is ripening, helps prevent fungal diseases. They're actually a bit more cold-hardy than peaches. Can tolerate down to -30 Celsius, maybe even lower if the tree's really healthy, but big differences between varieties. Generally okay in USDA zones 5 to 8.
But the biggest challenge is that early flowering, you said.
That's the main limiting factor, yeah.
Yeah.
Flowering super early, like March in Western Europe, means those blossoms are prime targets for late spring frosts. A single frost can wipe out the whole crop.
Out.
They're also sensitive to big temperature swings in winter. Places like China have cold winters, but often more stable temperatures than, say, parts of North America where you get those wild fluctuations.
Yeah.
That's why breeding with the Siberian apricot, B. sibirica, is so important, trying to get that hardiness.
Okay, what about soil?
They like well-drained soil, don't want their feet wet. And a pH somewhere between 6.0 and 7.0, slightly acidic to neutral, is ideal.
And are they usually grown on their own roots or grafted?
Mostly grafted, usually onto plum or peach rootstocks. It's a standard practice. The top part, the scion, gives you the apricot variety you want, the flavor, size, color. The rootstock underneath controls things like the tree's size, its vigor, and resistance to certain soil diseases.
Makes sense. Any popular varieties in the U.S.?
Sure, classics like Blenheim, Wenatchee Moorpark, Tilton, Perfection are common. And pollination, some are self-fruitful, meaning one tree is enough. But others, like Mungold or Sungold, need a different variety nearby to cross-pollinate. So you'd need to plant at least 2 different compatible trees.
Good to know. And you mentioned hybrids earlier, these plumcot things.
Yeah. Beyond the natural purple apricot hybrid, breeders have created all sorts of apricot plum crosses, Blancats apriplums, Pluots apriums. They all offer unique blends of flavor and texture. It's a really exciting area of fruit development.
But growing them isn't all sunshine and, well, apricots. There are challenges, pests, diseases.
Oh, absolutely. Like any crop, they're susceptible to various things, and what's worst, depends a lot on your climate. In really hot places, like California's Central Valley, they can get pit burn. The flesh right around the stone goes soft and brown. Yeah, not ideal. Then you've got bacterial diseases, bacterial spot, crown gall, and fungal diseases are a big one. Brown rot is major. It can cause blossom wilt where the flowers and young shoots just die off. And later, it causes the fruit itself to rot.
Nasty.
Then there's dieback, caused by another fungus, Eutypelata. Branches just die back in summer, often starting around a pruning cut. Plus things like black knot, alternaria spot, powdery mildew. It keeps growers on their toes.
Sounds like anything they don't get compared to peaches.
Well, thankfully, they don't get leaf curl like peaches do. And bacterial canker and silverleaf aren't usually serious threats, which actually makes late winter pruning a bit safer for apricots than for some other stone fruits.
Okay, some good news there. Now, beyond just eating the fruit fresh, what about the bigger picture, production, other uses? You mentioned the kernels again.
Right. Production is huge globally. In 2022, the world grew about 3.86 million tons.
Million tons, wow.
Yeah. Turkey is the top producer by a long shot, about 21% of the world total, over 800,000 tons. Malatya province there is like the apricot capital of the world. After Turkey, you've got Uzbekistan, Iran, Italy, Algeria. It's a major crop in many places.
And those kernels, we know the oil is safe. What else?
The oil is definitely key used in food, cosmetics.
Yeah.
But the shells, the hard part of the stone, they get ground up and used as an exfoliant in cosmetics. A great natural alternative to those plastic microbeads.
That's clever, sustainable.
It is. And then there's that apricot kernel plant milk from Taiwan, a totally new direction. But yeah, mostly we eat the fruit raw or dried.
Let's talk nutrition then. Raw versus dried, what's the difference?
Big difference in concentration.
Yeah.
Okay, raw apricots, per 100 grams, that's about 3.5 ounces. You're looking at about 48 calories, mostly water, 86%, about 11% carbs, with 9 grams of sugar, just over 1% protein, very little fat.
And vitamin.
Moderate source of vitamin A and vitamin C, about 11% of your daily value for each, and a decent 2 grams of fiber.
Okay, so that's fresh. What happens when you dry them?
Everything gets concentrated. That same 100 grams of dried apricots jumps to about 240 calories. Water content drops to around 31%. Carbs shoot up to 63%, and that includes 53 grams of sugar, much more concentrated sweetness. Protein doubles to nearly 4%. Fat stays negligible.
But the vitamins and minerals.
That's where it gets really interesting. They become rich sources. Vitamin A, vitamin E, potassium, all jump up to over 20% of your daily value per 100 grams. And fiber nearly triples to about 7 grams.
So the takeaway for you listening, fresh or dried, they're nutritious, but drying them seriously bumps up the calories, sugar, and key nutrients like vitamin A, E, and potassium, plus fiber.
Exactly. Dried apricots are an energy-dense powerhouse. Great for a quick boost, but, be mindful of the concentrated sugar.
Perfect. Okay, we've covered the science, the history, the cultivation. Now let's shift gears. Let's talk about the art of the apricot.
Ah, yes, the fun part.
Our sources use this amazing metaphor. The apricot as an artist's complete palette of perfection. It's not just fruit, it's this muse transformed into edible artworks through 12 distinct preserve techniques. And we are going to dive into each one meticulously.
It's a brilliant way to frame it, because each technique really does capture a different facet of the apricot's character, its color, texture, flavor, like a painter choosing different techniques for different effects.
Yeah.
And yes, let's get meticulous. We'll examine the ingredients, the step-by-step method, the nutrition, the presentation, the whole artistic process for each one.
Excellent. Let's start our gallery tour with number 1, apricot jam. This is framed as the impasto technique in golden oils. Sounds rich and textured already. About 245 calories per serving. What exactly goes into this?
Okay, for this vibrant texture jam, the ingredients need to be precise. 2 cups of fresh apricots, pitted and roughly chopped, that's about 130 calories right there. Then, 3/4 cup of organic cane sugar, contributing around 360 calories. You'll need 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, just 7 calories. A teaspoon of vanilla bean paste adds about 12 calories and amazing flavor. And finally, a tiny pinch of sea salt, which is essentially 0 calories.
Okay, simple ingredients, but precision matters. How does the artist make this? What's the method?
It starts with palette preparation. This takes about 10 minutes. You combine those chopped apricots with the sugar in a good heavy-bottom pot. Copper is traditional and conducts heat beautifully. Then you let it sit, macerate.
Macerate. What exactly does that achieve?
It's crucial. The sugar draws the natural juices out of the apricot pieces. Our source likens it to watercolors on wet paper. The colors, the juices start to bleed and mingle. This does 2 things. It starts tenderizing the fruit and intensifying its flavor, and it helps dissolve the sugar before you even apply heat, which prevents sugar crystals forming later. Gives you a smoother base.
Ah, okay. Smart first step. What's next?
Next is color development, about 15 minutes of cooking. You apply gentle heat, stirring often. The fruit starts to break down, but because it was roughly chopped, you still get distinct pieces. The texture becomes thick, substantial, like Van Gogh's thick impasto strokes.
I like that. Visible texture. Why gentle heat?
Gentle heat is key. It lets the fruit soften slowly, release its natural pectin without scorching the sugar. You want that breakdown, but controlled, preserving some of that lovely fruit structure within the jam, not just mush.
Right. Makes sense. Then the final touches.
The final glazing takes about 5 minutes. This is where you stir in the fresh lemon juice and that wonderful vanilla bean paste. The jam will thicken up noticeably now, getting to that perfect consistency, holds its shape on a spoon, but still spreads beautifully.
And the lemon juice isn't just for flavor, is it?
No, it's vital. The acidity reacts with the natural pectin from the apricots and the sugar. That reaction is what makes the jam set, or gel. Plus, it brightens the flavor, cuts through the sweetness. The vanilla adds that lovely, warm, complex note. A perfect finish.
And then preserving this masterpiece.
Using preservation. About 30 minutes for cooling after potting. You carefully ladle the hot jam into sterilized jars. Sterilization is non-negotiable, kills bacteria, ensures it keeps. The source says it's like placing a finished painting in protective frames. Each jar holds the essence of summer's golden hour.
Lovely. And nutritionally, remind us.
A quarter cup serving is about 245 calories, 62 grams of carbs, 58 from sugar, 3 grams of fiber, good source of vitamins A and C from the fruit.
And how would you present this impasto jam?
Ooh, spread it thickly on really good sourdough toast, layer it in a croissant, or use it in thumbprint cookies where it just pools like liquid gold. Celebrate that texture. Moving to our second piece, apricot jelly. This one used the transparent glazing technique. It's all about clarity and light. About 225 calories per serving.
Jelly. Okay, so different texture entirely. What are the precise ingredients here?
For this luminous jelly, you need 3 cups of pure, fresh apricot juice. You'd probably need about 4 cups of pitted apricots to get that much juice. That's about 180 calories from the fruit. Then half cup of honey, about 240 calories. 3 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, this time around 11 calories. 1 packet of powdered pectin, which adds about 20 calories, and a subtle spice. 1/4 teaspoon of ground cardamom, just 2 calories.
Honey instead of sugar and lime instead of lemon. Interesting twists. How is it made?
It starts with color extraction about 20 minutes. You gently simmer whole apricots just until they soften and release their essence. Then, the crucial step. You strain this mixture meticulously through fine mesh, or even better, a jelly bag. The goal is to capture only the clear, translucent liquid. No pulp, no solids. Free from any textural interference, as the source puts it. That's the absolute key difference from jam.
Pure liquid light. Got it.
Transparent layer building. Takes about 10 minutes. You combine that clear apricot nectar with the honey. Honey gives it a different kind of sweetness, more floral, and helps with that luminous quality. Then you stir in the ground cardamom. It adds this lovely, subtle, slightly exotic warmth, but it's fine enough not to cloud the jelly.
Okay, maintaining clarity is paramount.
Absolutely. Next is setting the glaze. About 8 minutes. This is where the magic happens. You bring the mixture to a full, rolling boil. A boil you can't stir down while whisking in the powdered pectin. You literally watch it transform as the pectin activates. The goal is that crystal clear perfection of a Venetian glass masterpiece.
And pectin is the setting agent here.
Exactly. Pectin combined with the sugar, from the honey in this case, and the acid from the lime juice, forms a gel structure when boiled. That's what gives jelly its characteristic quiver. It's firm, the delicate set.
Fascinating chemistry. And the final step.
Light capture. This involves about 45 minutes of cooling after potting into sterilized jars. As it cools, it sets into this beautiful translucent amber. Each jar looks like it's holding concentrated sunlight, glowing from within.
Sounds stunning. Nutrition.
A quarter cup serving is 225 calories, 58 grams of carbs, 55 from sugar, just 1 gram of fiber since the pulp is removed, high in natural sugars, still got vitamin C.
And presentation, how do you show off that clarity?
Glaze pastries with it for a beautiful shine. Create transparent layers in desserts like trifles. Or serve it with sharp cheeses. The clear jelly against the opaque cheese is a wonderful contrast.
Beautiful. Okay, technique number 3, apricot preserves. This is the alla prima fresh fruit study. Sounds like it focuses on the fruit itself. About 210 calories per serving. What's in this one?
All right, this one celebrates the fruit pieces. You need 2 cups of fresh apricots. Pitted and halved, keep them chunky. That's 140 calories. Half a cup of raw turbinado sugar for about 240 calories gives a slight molasses note. 1 tablespoon of aged balsamic vinegar, just 5 calories, but big impact. 2 whole star anise cods for aroma. And 1 strip of fresh orange zest, minimal calories, lots of brightness.
Halved apricots, turbinado sugar, balsamic. Intriguing combo. What's the method?
It begins with subject preparation. Just 5 minutes. You arrange the apricot halves carefully. The idea is to maintain their architectural integrity, treat them like a classical still life. Unlike jam, you want these pieces to remain whole and recognizable.
Okay, preserving the form, then.
Atmospheric perspective. About 25 minutes of gentle cooking. You cook the apricot halves very gently, just enough to soften them while they keep their shape. It's like painting fruit that recedes into soft focus. The star anise and orange zest go in now, infusing the syrup with subtle aromatic depth. Slow, gentle cooking is key to prevent the halves from breaking apart.
Gentle handling, I see. What's the chiaroscuro effect?
That's the balsamic. Added in the last 10 minutes of cooking. The aged balsamic vinegar creates these subtle dark notes against the golden fruit, like shadow and light playing across the surface. It adds complexity, a tangy, slightly savory depth that contrasts beautifully with the sweetness. It's not just color, it's flavor layering.
Balsamic and apricot, I can almost taste that. Then the final composition.
Still life composition. After potting in sterilized jars and about 30 minutes of cooling, each jar is a little perfectly composed still life.
You see those beautiful apricot halves suspended in that lovely amber syrup.
And the nutrition.
Quarter cup gives you 210 calories, 54 grams of carbs, 50 from sugar, 2 grams of fiber, plus antioxidants from the fruit and those complex compounds from the balsamic.
Presentation for these beauties: spoon them over thick Greek yogurt. Serve alongside aged cheeses like Parmesan or Pecorino, or use them as an elegant topping for panna cotta. The whole fruit pieces look fantastic. Technique number 4 is a real party. Apricot conserve, presented as a mixed media collage. This one is packed with different textures and flavors, about 285 calories per serving.
Mixed media collage. Sounds complex. What's the ingredient list?
It's quite a list. 1½ cups fresh apricots, pitted and chopped, 105 cal. 1/2 cup dried Turkish apricots, chopped, 120 cal. All cup toasted almonds, roughly chopped, 110 cal. 1 cup dried cranberries, 90 cal. 1 cup of crystallized ginger, minced, 90 cal. 1 cup brown sugar, 210 cal. And 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 3 cal.
Wow, that's a lot going on. Fresh and dried apricots, nuts, cranberries, ginger. How do you bring all that together?
It starts with composition planning, about 10 minutes. You literally just combine all those different elements, the fresh and dried fruit, nuts, ginger, cranberries. It's like assembling elements for a mixed media piece. Each ingredient is chosen for its specific contribution, texture, color, flavor, and the goal is for each to remain somewhat distinct in the final product.
Okay, assembling the collage elements, then the cooking.
That's the layering technique, about 20 minutes of slow cooking. As it simmers, each element contributes its unique quality. Fresh apricots bring moisture and brightness. Dried apricots give concentrated sweetness and chewiness. Almonds add crunch and nuttiness. Cranberries offer tartness. Ginger provides that spicy kick. Slow cooking lets the flavors meld without everything turning into mush. You still want that textural diversity.
So it's about balance, even with all those ingredients.
Exactly. That leads to textural balance the next 15 minutes of cooking. The mixture develops this complex interplay. Smooth bits, chewy bits, crunchy bits, soft bits, sweet, tart, spicy. The source compares it to a Rothko painting with its layers and contrasts. The brown sugar adds depth. The cider vinegar provides that essential tang to cut through the richness and tie it all together.
Fascinating analogy. And the finished piece.
Assemblage completion. After about 30 minutes of cooling, the conserve truly looks like an abstract expressionist work. Every spoonful reveals different combinations of elements. You get a different experience with each bite.
Sounds amazing. Nutrition breakdown.
Quarter cup is about 285 calories, 68 grams of carbs, 62 from sugar. A good 4 grams of fiber plus 5 grams of healthy fats from the almonds. Rich in vitamin E, magnesium, antioxidants from all the different fruits and nuts.
And how do you serve this complex conserve?
It's fantastic with cheese and crackers, especially something sharp like cheddar. Use it like a chutney alongside grilled pork or lamb, or layered in parfaits where you can really see all the different components. It's visually interesting too.
Definitely sounds like a showstopper. Okay, number 5, apricot fruit butter. The technique is fumato blending. Much smoother, I imagine. About 180 calories per serving.
Exactly. Fumato, think Leonardo da Vinci, soft, smoky transitions. This is all about smooth texture and deep flavor. Ingredients are 3 cups fresh apricots, pitted, 210 cal, 1/4 cup maple syrup, 80 cal, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 6 cal, 1/2 teaspoon ground ginger, 3 cal, 1/4 teaspoon ground cardamom, 2 cal, 1/4 teaspoon ground cloves, 2 cal, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 4 cal.
Maple syrup and those warm spices. Sounds comforting. How do you achieve that fumato effect?
It starts with an unusual step, underpainting. About 45 minutes. You slow roast the apricots first. This caramelizes them, concentrates their flavor intensely through the Maillard reaction, that browning process that creates deep, complex flavors. It's like building up burnt undertones for a painting, creating a rich base layer.
Roasting. Okay, that's different. What's next?
Sfumato blending takes about 30 minutes. After roasting, you puree the apricots until they're absolutely perfectly smooth. Silky. No lumps allowed. This is where you get those Leonardo's smoke-like gradations. Then you return this smooth puree to gentle heat.
And the spices go in then?
Yes. During the spice glazing phase, about 20 minutes, you add the cinnamon, ginger, cardamom, cloves gradually, letting them blend invisibly into the puree. The extended cooking allows the spice flavors to meld completely, becoming complex and nuanced without any harsh edges. The lemon juice goes in near the end to brighten it all up.
So the long cooking really marries the flavors?
Completely. And the result, after the final varnish, 30 minutes cooling, is this smooth, lustrous butter. It has the quality of a perfectly varnished oil painting, with deep, complex flavors that unfold slowly.
Sounds luxurious. Nutrition.
Quarter cup is 180 calories, 46 grams carbs, 42 from sugar, 3 grams fiber, high in beta-carotene from the apricots, plus enzymes.
Presentation for this smooth operator.
Spread it on warm scones or toast. Swirl it into oatmeal or yogurt, or use it as a glaze for pork tenderloin or chicken. It creates a beautiful, glossy, caramelized finish when roasted. Number 6 takes us in a lighter direction. Apricot compote, using the on-plan air watercolor technique. Quick, fresh, vibrant, about 165 calories per serving.
On plein air, like painting outdoors. Sounds immediate. What are the ingredients?
Very fresh-focused. 2 cups fresh apricots, pitted and sliced, 140 cal. Half cup white wine, 60 cal. 3 tablespoons honey, 60 cal. 1 sprig of fresh thyme, 1 bay leaf. And 2 tablespoons fresh orange juice, 7 cal.
White wine, thyme, bay leaf.
Interesting aromatics. How is it made quickly?
It starts with plein air setup, just 5 minutes. Combine everything in a wide pan. The wide pan helps it cook quickly and evenly. The whole idea is to preserve that fresh, just picked quality, like painting outdoors to capture natural light. Not about deep concentration at all.
Okay, fast and fresh. The cooking method. Loose brushstrokes, but 12 minutes. Cook it briefly over medium heat. Stir gently. You want the apricot slices to mostly hold their shape while releasing some juice. The goal is bright, immediate flavor, not jammy sweetness. Keep that structure, that freshness.
So minimal cooking. And those aromatics.
They come into play during natural light capture, the last 3 minutes or so. The white wine provides acidity and a light base. The thyme and bay leaf add subtle herbaceous aromatic notes that enhance the apricot. They don't mask it, like capturing the way morning light plays across fruit. The orange juice adds a final zesty lift.
Lovely imagery. And serving.
Fresh impression. Let it cool for about 15 minutes, but serve it while it's still slightly warm or at room temperature to keep that just painted freshness.
Got it. Nutrition.
Quarter cup is about 165 calories, 38 grams carbs, 35 from sugar, 2 grams fiber. Contains natural fruit acids and those lovely herb compounds.
And presentation for this light, fresh compote.
Perfect. Over vanilla ice cream. Layer it with Greek yogurt and granola for breakfast. Or use it as a light topping for cheesecake, where its freshness cuts through the richness.
Now, before we move on, you included a note here about apricot marmalade. Technique number 7 is listed as not applicable citrus only. Why is that?
Right, that's a crucial point of distinction, especially if you're getting inspired to experiment. True marmalade absolutely requires citrus fruit, specifically the peel.
Why the peel?
Because citrus peel contains high levels of pectin and those characteristic bitter compounds. That combination is what gives marmalade its unique firm set and its signature bittersweet flavor profile. Apricots, wonderful as they are, just don't have that specific chemistry.
So you can make an apricot jam or preserve that looks a bit like marmalade, but it's not technically the same thing.
Exactly. You won't get that same gel structure or that specific bitter edge without citrus. It's a botanical and culinary definition. Important to know.
Good clarification. Okay, on to technique number 8. Apricot chutney. Using the Orientalist spice painting technique. Sounds exotic.
Yes.
195 calories per serving.
It definitely takes you on a flavor journey. Ingredients are 2 cups fresh apricots, pitted and diced, 140 cal. 1 medium red onion, diced, 40 cal. 1 Warwick cup golden raisins, 90 cal. 1 Warwick cup apple cider vinegar, 3 cal. 1 Warwick cup brown sugar, 80 cal. 1 tablespoon fresh ginger, minced, 4 cal. 1 teaspoon mustard seeds, 3 cal. 1/2 teaspoon ground coriander, 3 cal. 1/2 teaspoon turmeric, 4 cal. 1/4 teaspoon cayenne pepper, 1 cal. And 1/4 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 1 cal.
Another complex blend. Apricot, onion, raisins, ginger, and a whole host of spices. How does this spice painting come together?
It starts with the exotic palette, about 10 minutes. You toast the whole spices, the mustard seeds, maybe the coriander if using whole in a dry pan first. This releases their essential oils, deepens their flavor, creates this amazing aromatic foundation that transports you to distant spice markets, like 19th century Orientalist painters mixing vibrant pigments.
Toasting spices, key first step for depth.
Cultural fusion, about 15 minutes. You saute the diced onion until it's soft and golden. Then add the diced apricots, the toasted spices, the ginger, turmeric, cayenne, cinnamon. You're building layers of flavor now. Sweet fruit meeting pungent onion, meeting warm and hot spices. It's like the complex compositions of Ingres odalisques.
A real melding of flavors. What creates the chutney's signature tang?
That's the sweet and sour contrast, the next 25 minutes of simmering. The apple cider vinegar and the brown sugar work together to create that essential sweet-sour balance that defines a great chutney. It's like the interplay of warm and cool colors in a Delacroix painting, dynamic and balanced. The raisins add little bursts of sweetness and chewiness too.
Sweet, sour, spicy, fruity. Sounds incredibly complex. Does it need time to mature?
Absolutely. That's the aged patina phase.
Eh.
After about 30 minutes of cooling, you let it rest. Chutneys are always better after the flavors have had time to meld and mature for at least a day, ideally longer. They develop that nuanced character, like a well-aged oil painting.
Good tip, make it ahead. Nutrition.
Quarter cup is 195 calories, 49 grams carbs, 45 from sugar, 3 grams fiber, plus all those beneficial compounds from the spices and ginger.
And how do you best showcase this exotic chutney?
Serve it with Indian curries, of course. It's fantastic with aged cheeses and crackers. Makes a brilliant condiment for grilled lamb or pork. Adds that perfect sweet, spicy complexity. Number 9 is apricot curd, using the Renaissance egg tempera technique. This one is pure luxury, rich and smooth. About 220 calories per serving.
Curd. Like lemon curd, but apricot. Sounds amazing.
Egg tempera. Interesting link. What are the exact ingredients?
Very precise. 1 cup of smooth, fresh apricot puree. You'll need to cook and strain apricots to get this, about 70 cal. 3 large egg yolks, 165 cal. 1/4 cup unsalted butter, 200 cal. 0 cup granulated sugar, 130 cal. 2 tablespoons fresh lemon juice, 7 cal. And a pinch of salt, 0 cal.
Egg yolks and butter. Definitely rich. How does the egg tempera method work? It starts with pigment preparation, about 15 minutes. You need a perfectly smooth apricot puree. Cook the fruit until tender, then strain it meticulously to remove all fibers. This pure color base is essential. Like medieval masters preparing their own colors, smoothness is key for curd.
Okay, pristine puree is step 1, then the temper medium.
That's the egg tempera medium, takes 10 minutes. You whisk the egg yolks with the sugar until the mixture is pale, thick, and ribbony. This creates the protein-rich medium, the egg yolks that give temper paintings their smoothness and luminosity. It's an emulsifier, basically. Whisking incorporates air and dissolves the sugar.
Right, harnessing the power of the yolk. How do you combine it with the apricot? Carefully, I assume.
Very carefully. That's color binding, about 8 minutes. You gently heat the apricot puree, then slowly whisk the warm puree into the egg yolk mixture, or sometimes combine them and heat gently together. The key is gentle heat and constant whisking. This prevents the eggs from scrambling. The proteins coagulate slowly, creating that silky texture. You cannot rush this step.
Low and slow, constant motion. Got it. What's the final step?
Final medium, about 5 minutes. Off the heat, you whisk in the cold butter a piece at a time. The butter emulsifies into the mixture, making it even richer and giving it a beautiful sheen. Then stir in the lemon juice, brightens the flavor, and helps preserve the color.
Sounds decadent. Nutrition.
Quarter cup is 220 calories, 28 grams carbs, 6 sugar, 2 grams fiber, but 12 grams of fat from the yolks and butter. Rich in vitamin A, lecithin from the eggs.
And serving this luxurious curd.
Fill tart shells with it. Layer it in elegant parfaits with cream or yogurt, or just dollop it generously on scones or brioche. Its golden color and silky texture are pure indulgence.
Okay, number 10, apricot fruit paste. The technique is fresco secco. Sounds dense and intense. A concentrated 280 calories per 1-inch square serving.
Exactly. Think membrillo or quince paste, but apricot. Very concentrated ingredients.
Yeah.
4 cups fresh apricots, pitted 280 cal. 1 cup granulated sugar, 480 cal. 2 tablespoons lemon juice, 7 cal. And 1 teaspoon natural apple pectin. Optional, but helps ensure a from-set negligible calories.
Fresco secco, like painting on dry plasters. How does that translate to fruit paste?
It's about building up intensity and permanence. Starts with cartoon transfer, a long cooking phase, maybe 1 hour. You cook the apricots down very slowly until they're completely broken down. You're evaporating moisture, concentrating the essence, developing deep flavors, like creating the preparatory drawing for a fresco. Long reduction is key here.
Okay, really cooking it down, then.
Pigment concentration. Another 45 minutes or so of cooking, but now stirring constantly. You reduce it further until the mixture is incredibly thick. The test is dropping a bit from a spoon. It should hold its shape almost completely. This is like the painstaking process of applying pigments to dry plaster. Getting the thickness exactly right is crucial for it to set properly.
Constant stirring, judging that thickness, sounds demanding.
It requires attention. Then, surface preparation, about 30 minutes. You pour this thick paste into a parchment-lined pan and smooth the top meticulously. Like the final layer of plaster, it needs to be even before it dries and sets.
And then it just dries.
Yes, that's the aged masterpiece phase. It takes about 24 hours, sometimes longer depending on humidity. You let it air dry, uncovered or lightly covered, until it's firm enough to cut cleanly into squares or shapes. The finished paste has that permanence and intensity of a Renaissance fresco.
Amazing. Nutrition for that little square.
1-inch square is 280 calories, 72 grams carbs, 70 sugar, 4 grams fiber, highly concentrated sugars and nutrients, especially vitamin A.
How do you serve this intense fruit paste?
Traditionally cut into squares or diamonds and served with cheese, especially salty, aged cheeses like Manchego. It's wonderful. You can also use small pieces as a filling for pastries or just serve them as petites fours, like little golden tiles. Almost there. Number 11 is apricot shrub. Technique: Venetian glass. This is a drinking vinegar concentrate, bright and tangy. About 85 calories per 2 tablespoons serving of the concentrate.
A shrub. I love these. Venetian glass implies clarity again. What goes in?
Exactly. Clarity and brilliance. Ingredients: 2 cups fresh apricots, pitted and chopped, 140 cal. 1 cup granulated sugar, 480 cal. 1 cup champagne vinegar, 24 cal. Or another light vinegar like white wine or cider. 2 cardamom pods, lightly crushed. And 1 cinnamon stick.
Sugar, fruit, vinegar. The classic shrub combo. How does the Venetian glass method work?
It starts with glass blowing preparation, a cold process lasting 24 hours. You combine the chopped apricots and sugar and just let them sit. This is cold maceration. The sugar draws out the juice and flavor, creating a rich syrup without any heat. The goal is a clear, brilliant base, as clear and brilliant as Venetian glass.
So patience, not heat, for the first step, then.
Fire polishing takes about 15 minutes. You strain the fruit syrup away from the solids, then combine that clear syrup with the champagne vinegar and the spices, cardamom, cinnamon. Heat this mixture gently, just until the sugar is fully dissolved. Gentle heat is crucial here to maintain clarity and preserve the delicate aromas. You don't want to boil off those volatile compounds.
Gentle heat preserves the glass. Makes sense.
Annealing process. Let it cool slowly for about 2 hours. Like annealing glass to make it stable, this slow cooling lets the flavors marry and integrate beautifully and helps ensure continued clarity. The finished shrub gets that luminous quality of hand-blown glass.
Slow cooling for flavor melding. Final touch.
Master craftsman's touch. After cooling, strain out the spices. You're left with this brilliant amber concentrate that catches and holds light like a piece of Murano glass.
Sounds gorgeous. Nutrition for the concentrate.
2 tablespoons gives you 85 calories, 22 grams carbs, 21 sugar, plus beneficial fruit acids and that tangy kick from the vinegar.
How do you use this beautiful shrub?
Mix it with sparkling water for a super refreshing drink. Use it as a base in cocktails, add sweetness, acidity, and that jewel-like color. Or even drizzle it over fruit salads for a bright counterpoint.
Lovely. And finally, our 12th technique, apricot mostarda. The method is Byzantine mosaic. Sounds intricate. About 235 calories per serving.
It is intricate. Mostarda is a fascinating Italian condiment, balancing sweet, spicy, and tangy, usually with fruit preserved in a mustard-spiked syrup. Ingredients here: 2 cups fresh apricots, pitted and quartered, 140 cal. 3/4 cup granulated sugar, 360 cal. 1/4 cup white wine vinegar, 3 cal. 2 tablespoons Dijon mustard, 20 cal. 1 tablespoon mustard seeds, 30 cal. 1/2 teaspoon ground mustard, 3 cal. 1 bay leaf, and 1/4 teaspoon ground ginger, 1 cal.
Quartered apricots, 3 types of mustard.
Right.
Wow. How does the Byzantine mosaic technique build this?
It starts with tesserae preparation, about 20 minutes. Tesserae are the individual tiles in a mosaic. Here, you cook the apricot quarters gently in a sugar syrup until they become translucent and jewel-like but still hold their shape, like cutting individual tiles. You want distinct, beautiful pieces of fruit.
Okay, preparing the tiles, then the gilding.
Sort of. Gold leaf application takes about 10 minutes. This is where you add the mustard elements, the whole mustard seeds for texture and pop, the ground mustard for earthy heat, the Dijon for creamy sharpness and complexity. These are like the brilliant highlights that make Byzantine mosaic so luminous. Layering the different mustards creates that signature complex heat.
3 layers of mustard. Intense. How do you brand it all together?
That's the groutwork, about 15 minutes. The white wine vinegar, bay leaf, and ground ginger go in. They act like the mortar in a mosaic, binding the sweet fruit and the pungent mustard, balancing everything while letting each element shine. The vinegar provides that crucial, tangy counterpoint to the sweet and spicy.
Sweet, spicy, tangy, fruity, a lot going on.
It really is. The result, after divine illumination, 30 minutes cooling, is this incredibly complex interplay of flavors, that characteristic sweet, hot, sour profile of the best mostardas.
Nutrition.
1/4 cup is 235 calories, 58 grams carbs, 55 sugar, 2 grams fiber, plus those pungent mustard compounds.
And serving this complex mosaic.
It's classic with boiled meats, bollito misto in Italy, but fantastic with roasted pork or rich poultry. Amazing with aged cheeses and cured meats on an antipasti platter. Its complexity and golden color are really sophisticated. And just a quick note on keeping these creations. Most of the jams, jellies, preserves, conserve, chutney, paste, shrub, and mostarda, if properly sealed in sterilized jars, will last for months in a cool, dark place, often up to a year.
But not the curd or compote.
Right. The compote is best fresh or within a few days refrigerated. The curds, because of the eggs and butter, definitely needs refrigeration, and it's best eaten within a week or two. But some, like the fruit paste and the shrub, actually get better with a bit of age. Their flavors deepen and meld, developing complexity like fine wines or aged paintings.
Patience pays off sometimes.
Okay.
We've meticulously explored the culinary artistry. Let's briefly touch on the apricot's place in culture, beyond the kitchen. It's amazing how symbolic it can be.
It truly is. In Armenia, for instance, even though we now know it likely originated elsewhere, it's revered as the national fruit. You see it everywhere, depicted on souvenirs, especially associated with the Ararat Plain. That cultural connection runs deep.
And in China, you mentioned education and medicine.
Yes, profound connections. The term apricot altar, Xingtan, still means educational circle, referencing Confucius' teaching under apricot trees. And its link to medicine is strong, partly from using kernels in traditional medicine, but also the lovely story of Dongfeng.
The physician who asked for trees instead of payment.
That's the one. His patients planted apricot trees, creating a huge grove. So, expert of the apricot grove, Xing Lin Gaoshne, became this poetic term for a skilled doctor. Beautiful, isn't it?
It really is, a living metaphor. Then there's the opposite. In Egypt and Palestine, an apricot season means something impossible.
Yes. Filmishmish or buka filmishmish. Because the season there is so short and unreliable, it became slang for when pigs fly or in your dreams. Shows how climate shapes culture.
Fascinating. Any other cultural tidbits?
Well, it's eaten as part of the Tu Bishvat Seder in Jewish tradition. In Turkey, there's an idiom. The only thing better than this is an apricot in Damascus. Basically meaning, it doesn't get any better than this. High praise.
And the U.S. Marine superstition. That's wild. Bad luck, especially near tanks.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Documented since Vietnam, maybe even WWII. They avoid eating them, possessing them, even saying the word, calling them cots or a fruit. Who knew a fruit could inspire such strong superstition?
From ancient folklore to, well, outer space, dried apricots went to the moon.
They did on Apollo 15 and 17. Perfect astronaut food, nutritious, portable, energy dense. We also talked about the modern uses ground kernels as exfoliants, replacing plastic microbeads, the safe kernel oil, and that new kernel plant milk. It keeps finding new roles.
It really does. It connects back to that bigger picture, doesn't it? How versatile one ingredient can be.
Exactly. It perfectly illustrates that idea of fruit is not just food, but a canvas for endless creativity. It fits right into that whole world of homemade preserves and culinary exploration, like the kinds celebrated in things like the shrimp boat spread M. The apricot is just a prime example of the magic waiting in a single ingredient if you look closely enough.
Well, you heard it here. We've taken a truly deep, meticulous dive today. We journeyed through the apricot's fascinating history, its biology, its cultural echoes, and culminated in that detailed exploration of 12 distinct culinary art forms.
From the textured impasto jam to the complex Byzantine mosaic mostarda, we really unpacked how every ingredient, every step, contributes to that palette of perfection.
We sincerely hope this deep dive hasn't just left you feeling incredibly well-informed about apricots, but maybe genuinely inspired too. Hopefully you now see this humble golden fruit through a new, perhaps more artistic lens.
You've got the nuanced understanding now, like a true connoisseur, ready to appreciate these edible masterpieces on a whole new level, or maybe even try your hand at creating one yourself.
So as you think about the apricot and all the hidden depths we uncovered today, what other seemingly simple ingredients are sitting in your pantry, just waiting to reveal their own histories, their own science, their own untapped artistic potential? What other fruits out there, or maybe even vegetables, are truly a complete palette of perfection, waiting for your meticulous exploration?